Yes, that's it.
I think it does. But more
that's
something
the theory.
like...
That's the way to go. Alcohol helps everything.
Alcohol
it solves problems with your family.
amazing.
You know, courage.
I actually think it does. It is. It's the unsung hero.
Some people think it's cocaine and Adderall.
Bobby!
But I think it's alcohol.
Would you get our lovely guest Estella?
I love how you said cocaine and Adderall, then Bobby came up. Like, yeah.
Yes.
I have coke and Adderall.
Yeah, Stella, come right
Maybe 2 because he doesn't want to drink alone, and then I.
Bobby did a
I
great.
like how you still use me.
Bobby did a great Phil Hartman.
Yes, yes, and get Josh a Shirley Temple. will you?
No,
Can you
I
get her?
can't. It's sugar. I can't.
All right. Maybe a Will Rogers.
Could you just get me some hot water? That's all I can.
Oh God! Did any of you watch Breaking Bad?
Love Breaking Bad.
Oh, you know when Lydia drinks the hot water? Oh.
At the end?
She orders she just always, when she sits in a
Yeah.
restaurant, orders hot
She
water.
always gets the-
Stevia. She puts stevia in it. Yeah. And then, I can't give away the ending, but we're not in the air
I
yet.
think we just did.
Why am I being attacked?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Don't give away.
Oh, right, okay.
Are you watching it? Are you watching it?
I'm going to. I'm in the process of watching so many things on Netflix.
Can't a man have hot water without it affecting his masculinity?
Gay! Gay!
Only if it's boiled, not microwaved.
Do you want to put this on,
Wow.
Josh? Why don't you put this
Do
on?
you see this? Do you see this?
With your hot water.
My first gig here, I did put that on.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I wound up I wound up in the boa. I don't know how, but
Wait, where are you from?
That sounds familiar. I may have seen
I'm
it.
actually from Canada.
Oh, okay, that's right. You said that
Nova
last night.
Scotia,
Canada, but many years in
where
Britain.
nobody else is from.
Except Harlan Williams is from.
Well, no, he's from the West Coast.
Oh, he's not
I mean,
rich.
the actual like Nova Scotia.
No,
It's
that's
really
a cold place.
It's Canada.
I remember there was
All of Canada.
I remember there was a made-for-TV movie, sci-fi movie about the not too distant future, where they ended up going to Nova Scotia at the end.
There's a couple of them. There's, well, for starters, World War Z.
Thanks, Bobby.
Very welcome.
World War Z, which is quite
This will
recent.
loosen him
Thanks
up.
very
There we
much.
go.
Hey, I posted the
Thank
video
you, sir.
How do I see it?
You go to flapperscomedy.com,
Okay.
Dead Comedians
Oh,
playlist.
it's on there.
I actually
Great.
made a Dead Comedians playlist,
That's awesome.
but I put your name in the search too.
Okay, perfect.
So,
I'll
is
check
that
it out.
delish or what?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
the spot.
This might help.
So World War Z,
Okay.
which is quite recent. Yeah, and they all end up, Nova Scotia ends up being the safe ground. But also, I was thinking Barbed Wire, starring Pamela Anderson,
I remember.
Where,
You're old.
Canadian Money is the ultimate value. Am I old or am
Sorry.
I just Canadian? Am I
Maybe
just,
that is
am
it.
I just, yeah.
Get this on tape.
You give
TMI,
me
TMI.
all
Hold it.
your Canadian info.
Barbed
Oh, I
wire.
remember, yeah, Pamela Anderson and Canadian Money was worth, it was like gold.
We were just talking about Canada with Lamont Ferguson a couple weeks ago. Was it
Yes.
last-
Poutine.
Well,
Poutine, well, that.
yes, poutine.
The
Which I
word
think
of
is
the
horrible.
day. Oh, good. Let's
I'm
talk
like one
about
of the
that.
only
Oh,
Canadians
Ferguson
that-
was pro poutine.
Everybody is. I think I'm the only one. Because I
Oh,
had such a
you
horrible...
couldn't stop talking. Wait, save it. We're gonna talk. We gotta talk about it.
Okay,
We're
so
gonna
good to
shut
go?
up now. And
Silent cell phones, please, and we'll be rolling in just a sec.
Nobody ever calls me. The last person who called me was him saying, yes, I can do the podcast. Beyond that, no one has called me.
well, all your stalkers are dead.
Oh, no, people are calling me, so...
Damn, you just
Am I right?
come out and say it.
That's right.
You just take the line and then go, I'm going to take a
It's
dump on
true.
that.
What
And
about the
then-
one who took your virginity?
What about that one?
Didn't she call you?
No,
No.
the other one. The other one. The other
There's
one
this
died.
girl who was sued up stalking me, who died.
She stalked you and then died.
Well, she killed herself.
Dude, you have
Well, we
bad
don't know.
luck.
And on that note, let's begin.
Terrible luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another exciting episode of the FlappCast Behind the Funny, where we find out what goes on behind the scenes at a comedy club and we talk to our great headliners. I'm Barbara Holliday.
I'm Joshua Snyder, and you don't have Ebola, do you? Because you said you were getting sick, and I just...
I might have Ebola. We'll find out by the end of the show. And today we have an amazing guest, one of our headliners, who's come to us from Canada, JJ Whitehead.
Hello, nice to be here.
Welcome, JJ.
Thanks for having me.
What's the J and the J stand for?
Jason John.
Oh, you
Jason
really
John
do
Whitehead.
have two
I've got
names.
another one stuck in there as well.
What's that?
Ashley.
Oh, they want to put a girl's
Jason
name
John
in the middle?
Ashley Whitehead.
They like.
It's a family name, okay?
Oh, I see.
It's all men in my family. They're all called Ashley, but I think they all have a complex. So I've gone with JJ, and I've cut out the Ashley.
Yes, and Whitehead has no connotations either.
No.
You could have been called Blackhead, though.
There was a
That
period. There was a
suck.
period where Ashley was very masculine. You know.
Is that
Was
Irish?
it?
You watch out for Ashley, like
It
in the
is Irish, I
1800s.
think. Yeah, I believe
It's
so.
I'm Ashley.
I believe so.
Ah.
So I've got an Irish middle name, but Whitehead is clearly not an Irish last name. So whatever my family roots are, it's a mess. There was some sort of big battle, I'm sure, and out of it, there was probably just some Native Americans who went, "What's up with the Whitehead?" And thus we started over again. So
And you grew your hair out in honor of the Native Americans, I see.
I do.
Right?
Yeah, you gotta do what you can.
You have Native American hair.
Like,
It's awesome.
clearly ginger and Irish looking now. This
It's,
is clearly the Irish roots. Have
You look
come
like you
through.
look like you could be in that show Outlander. You could be.
oh, yeah.
Outlander.
Yeah.
You know the movie Outlander? My father's in it.
He is?
Wait, are we talking
Mr.
Outlander or Highlander?
Mr. Whitehead?
Outlander, where Jim Caviezel plays a Viking from the future. Or
Oh,
you know that?
yeah.
You know that movie.
What is your dad doing?
My father's one of the Vikings.
Oh,
My father's an old. Wow, we've already gotten to we're not even a couple minutes in. We've already gotten to father
dad
issues.
stuff. Oh, this is
I have
perfect.
no issues with Mr. Whitehead.
Is he an Ashley
But,
as well?
No, he's a Kenneth.
Oh.
But he really thinks he's Irish, actually. He's visited me in Britain, and he's been backstage with Irish comics and tried to berate them for not being Irish enough. Meanwhile, he has a perfectly North American accent, and he's yelling, "Are you Catholic or Protestant?" And if they say, "Oh, we're Protestant," he'll go, "Ooh, you're a Protty! Oh, you're not really Irish like me." And I have to get him out of the room quickly. But to go back to the movie,
So he's
my
an actor,
father-
or-
no, my father's an old retired military man, so he's pretty
Hence a Viking.
hardcore all his life. But now that he's retired, he kind of got into his son's profession. He thinks what I do is exciting, so he started being an extra in films. So he's been an extra in K-19 and in Outlander and like Two If by Sea and the Trailer Park Boys movie. In the Trailer Park Boys movie, there's a guy getting a strip dance when they're having
I know that.
conflict in a strip club.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's Kenny Whitehead. That's Kenny Whitehead getting a strip dance. He came home all covered in glitter, and my mother called me immediately in Britain and said, "This is all your fault. This new hobby of his. He's just coated in glitter going, I had a good day at the office." I know. But and then for Outlander, which I think is really funny, for Outlander, he got a Viking. They're all just extra roles, not speaking, but they all had to line up. I don't know if you remember the charge scene, and Jim Caviezel is leading all the Vikings into a charge. And because my father's, he's old and he's quite Viking looking, they had him right next to Caviezel. But my dad took it really seriously and kept outrunning Caviezel. And I had to pull my dad aside and reset the line and go, "Okay, look, Ken, he's the star. We need him."
Too much Viking.
Yeah, we need him to run ahead of you. So can you? And he was just getting excited. So I heard all about it. But yeah.
So that means in a sense he did get to outrun Jesus.
Technically, yes.
Wow.
Ooh,
That's
see?
pretty.
I'll have to point that out to him.
That's a Canadian feat.
He
Wow.
also got to park Harrison Ford's private plane.
Really?
Yeah, which is because in the crossover, so being a military man, he was in charge of the Shearwater Airport, which is the Air Force airport on the East Coast. He was in charge of it when they were doing K-19. So not only was he in charge, commanding officer of the airport, but he also just started dabbling in this being an extra stuff, because he's being an old man.
He's not a dabbler. He's done some crap.
And so we got to know Harrison Ford, and then Harrison Ford was complaining to him and going, "Oh, I hate having to park my plane." And my dad goes, "Well, I'm the commanding officer of Shearwater, so why don't you park it at my airport?" And so my dad got to take care of Harrison. Oh, and the capper is, so my dad wanted to get something for Harrison Ford to sign. He's all excited, but he didn't have any Star Wars things or anything. And so I asked him, I was like, "Dad, what did you take for him to sign?" And he took a copy of The Devil's Own. Like one of Harrison Ford's worst
Classic.
movies. So he had an opportunity to go, "Here's some Star Wars stuff for my kids," or whatever. But no, he shows up with the flop that he made with Brad Pitt.
Here's a reminder of your
yeah.
crappiest movie. Yeah.
Yeah, great moment. So,
Sign this.
yeah. So that's my father, the movie star.
Wow. Now, you guys are Canadian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where's your birth city or
I
province?
was born in Middleton, Nova Scotia, and then we moved around a lot because my father's like an international military man. So we lived in Victoria and stuff. And then at the start of my comedy career, I started my comedy career in Europe,
Great place to start.
in '98. Yeah, it's fantastic in Edinburgh.
So you now we were talking about this briefly before, but did you go specifically to Britain to start comedy, or did you go to Britain and then?
No, I wanted to get away. Actually, I was living in South Carolina, and I was.
I'd want to get away too.
I was working for Marriott hotels, and I just hated it. I really hated it. Running all their activities and stuff. I knew there was something better.
Hated it so much you went across the ocean.
Yeah, I said to my family, I said, I got to get out of here and go find something or just do something. I said I'm going to take a couple of months off. And then 2 years later, I'm like, I'm a comedian now. so yeah, I just took off. I went to Edinburgh, and on my third day in Edinburgh, I got a job. The day I got this waitering job. But then I went to a comedy club with a bunch of other people, and the MC, the compere, said, does anybody want to try this? And I remember thinking, I don't know anybody here. Nobody's ever going to know if I suck at this. So I'm going to do it now.
Let's do it.
Went and talked to them after the show, and then I started doing it, and then it all took off for me. So
I love how you say
really good.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Bruh?
I try to teach people. Yeah,
It's not borough.
No, everybody always goes borough and Edinburgh and and Loughborough and no, if you say it like bra, like
Edinburgh.
like a woman's bra,
Edinburgh.
and then just soften it.
Edinburgh.
Then it sounds like it.
Edinburgh.
I've softened a lot of my words though over 15 years over living there, but yeah. So Edinburgh, Loughborough, Bournemouth.
Well, you had some big successes in the UK too. You had your own television show.
Yeah, it was really
Web
good.
Rats.
Yeah, I won. Yeah, straight out of the gates. As soon as I started doing comedy, it went really well for me. I won like a national competition, which is kind of like Last Comic Standing is over here, but I guess this would have been
Only better.
10 years ago, an earlier form of it. So it's called the BBC Comedy Award, and that was fully televised. And then I got my own TV show out of that, which didn't last very long, but still, it was my own TV show. And then yeah, I've just been over there touring around, coming back here occasionally. I did a special up in Canada like 6 or 7 years ago, and it keeps you busy. When you do something in Britain, there's so many, like Australia is so heavily connected, and New Zealand, and so you end up getting televised all through Europe and through Australia and New Zealand, so they all kind of still recognize you for many years after that. So you end up having a career around the world.
Why did you come back here?
I'm bored.
Oh.
No, I mean it was time. I mean I grew up on American culture, and I grew up on Saturday Night Live, and I saw all those things. And so, to be honest, I started thinking about it a lot a couple of years ago when I did, because everything's notching up, but I've toured Australia now, and I've done all these things. And I don't know, it's going to sound weird, but once you've done them a lot, I just started to remember, oh yeah, one of my original dreams was to be an American comedian, and I'm not an American comedian, so that's something that I should maybe make a commitment to go do. So that's why I decided to
And do you think,
change it all up.
Do you think that the material you do here is different? We had a Canadian on a couple weeks ago who was saying that specifically in Canada at least, that audiences are smarter. How about UK?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you think?
Wow, that's some bragging. I don't know. Well, I worked with Josh last night, but I think because I already work in different markets, so I already do Britain and Europe and stuff. My stuff isn't political or religious. I kind of just do
Talk about what happened to you.
Yeah, I do universal like social comedy. So it's comedy that can work in different markets, like getting in an argument with a girlfriend, or having a bad date, or getting an argument with your bank. It's a lot of arguments. Right. It's getting in an argument with
we are.
Or affecting the porn choices of people who are still.
Oh, I heard about the porn bit.
That's
funny.
Right. Yeah. Dirty hotel stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all kind of social commentary that I think can fit in any culture.
Cross-cultural,
I've been touring with Jim Jeffries here.
What? We love Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, of course, he's a big root. Well, he was my roommate in Britain for a long time. So we started in comedy together back in Britain until he moved over here and left me alone in Britain. But but his audience, of course, they're all expecting like really rude stuff. But the funny thing I find about my material is that it really works for his audience. But it's not rude, it's all just their context, I think. It's the way they see it. It's like, oh, it's Jim's support act. So this is obviously when I do that porn story in the hotel, which can easily be a clean story, but at the same time, if you do it to Jim Jeffries' audience, they think it's so rebellious, you know. But it's great. It's when you do kind of social commentary material, it's up to the interpretation of the audience, I guess, you know.
So did you start making a living at this like pretty soon after you started? Did you take classes or how? Because it sounds so easy. It's like, wham, I got a TV show.
Yeah, it was a little bit like cheating. Yeah, it happened really fast. Yeah, it happened really fast. Like I won the BBC Comedy Award in 2000.
Was that the world's Funniest on BBC or something like that?
The World Stands Up.
That's what it was. Okay.
Well, no, The World Stands Up is
a different one?
another show, but I was on that. I was on that the 2 years after the BBC Comedy Award.
Oh, okay.
And but the BBC Comedy Award was the big thing. That would be my first, and that was just a huge televised thing. So, and winning that, yeah, part of the prize was my TV commission and some other, you know.
But tell us about your process. Like you just knew you were a good storyteller, or you complained a lot, or do you write things down? Do you record?
Well, it's funny, when you start out, you don't really have to be a good storyteller because you really just need a good 5 minutes. Like to win the BBC Comedy Award, even that was like 5. I think it was up to 8 minutes. It was between 5 and 8. And one of the earliest things I learned, because in '99 I entered and lost the BBC Comedy Award. So I didn't win. And I think one of the things I learned was that I was pushing the 8 minutes. I was trying to show them everything I could do because I was definitely having good shows. And I was only a year in. I remember having great shows and really trying to push the envelope. And the one thing I learned was that less is more. So if anything, you don't have to keep going for, I can show them that I can do 8. I can show them that I have all this variety. So the next year, I won the whole thing, and the way I won the whole thing was just keeping it short and going out. As soon as you get that big laugh, as long as you're anywhere up around 5 minutes, you leave, and the audience will go crazy. And so I think that was a little secret I learned, but it was definitely not storytelling at that time. It was definitely a lot of, it's a lot of short jokes, you know, and a lot of pop music, a lot of how music frustrates you. Anything that a kid who's 20 years old is frustrated about, which is a lot of irrelevant things, you know. So don't the Spice Girls suck? And I remember saying the Spice Girls were like a nail bomb because they had all split up. So like a nail bomb that had gone off and caused pain and horror all over the shop and all these.
Oh, I miss the Spice Girls jokes.
Little pop star metaphors and stuff like that. But that's what you do when you start out, when you're trying to find your.
You didn't go for the sex stuff?
I did a little bit of sex stuff, but for the most part it was on TV, so
right.
It was pretty clean.
That's good early training, though.
It was all TV ready stuff. Yeah.
Because if you were just in the clubs, you know. Do you get racier when you're in the club?
I don't think I ever wanted to be one of those guys. Anyway, to be honest, I looked up to a lot of clean. Well, I grew up on Just for Laughs, the TV show, and Saturday Night Live, and Comedy at Club 54. Was that ever on?
Yeah, I know Club 54.
So because they used to repeat it when the Comedy Network got created, which I don't know when that would have probably been mid '90s or something. They'd show all these repeats of all this old stuff. So to be honest, I was more into that.
So sketch type stuff.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, and that's kind of what inspired me more than, because I know guys like Jim Jeffries and my other flatmate my other roommate in
Flatmate.
in Britain was an Aussie comedian called Steve Hughes, and he's quite hardcore as well, all about conspiracy theories. But him and
we have one of those guys here, my partner.
But him and Jim, of course, that's what they'd be into. Which, in our years living together in Manchester, you can see that they would troll the internet for more obscure, Jim Norton type stuff, or Doug Stanhope, or which I think they're all great. But yeah, that wasn't where I came from. I came from more of a Yeah, more TV. I had more TV. It just didn't.
What was that?
Maybe I was just a nice guy too. Maybe maybe I'm just like from a nuclear family with like my parents are still together and I don't have any, So like Jim Jeffries is from his family's broken in many ways.
What was that like? Living in a flat in Europe with Jim
They
Jeffries
were
before?
really rude. I gotta it was great fun. No, we absolutely loved it. It was great. Me and Jim and Steve Hughes, I think we're pretty inseparable to this day because we lived in London. We were living in London and we were having trouble breaking through, and we weren't getting much attention. And this would be like 2003. So this would be like 3 years after I got this big boost. So that was probably starting to like just smooth out a little bit. And my show had been canceled and all that kind of stuff. And then Steve and Jim, so we all wanted something more. We weren't getting it from London because rent is pretty high. There's a lot of competition.
3 people living, what did you have, like 200 square feet or something?
Well, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Jim didn't live with us yet. But all 3 of us were just frustrated. So what we did was, I think it would be Jim, was on the road in Manchester. And he called us from Manchester. And he just went, hey, fellas, rent is dirt cheap here, and there's some gigs here and stuff. Let's move here. And so we all just went, all right, yeah, fuck it. And the 3 of us moved up, and we lived in Manchester together for like 4 years. And we broke at all kinds of clubs. And I mean, you're probably not heavily concerned with British comedy here, but living in Manchester is what I always advise to young comics when they want to go over there, because a lot of them go for London. But London's at the bottom of the country, and it's really competitive. Not that Manchester isn't competitive. But the great thing about Manchester is it was in the middle of the country, so you can still hit all the cities and be home, and you become like this replacement guy. So if any big comic has car trouble or can't get out of London, and they have to get all the way to Manchester or Leeds or Newcastle or Birmingham or Liverpool, well, they can't make it in time, so that replacement usually comes from Manchester. So for 4 years, we were living in this, so we were getting all those replacement calls, and we just started...
Kings of Manchester.
And it really worked for us. We really started
Lots of stage time.
Started to break through, and we got tons of time, so we loved our Manchester years. And we had a 5-bedroom house with a 2-car driveway, and lots of extra space, and we started getting creative. And it was great. Whereas in London, you got nothing.
Yeah, I performed in London once. Dave and I had taken a vacation there on a trip I won on Hollywood Squares. What?
Nice.
Yeah, and what we actually did pick up a little trick from London, though. We call it barking.
Right.
You know those people, there are comedy shows everywhere, up in the little tops of pubs and things,
Yeah.
And there would be people out in the square yelling, comedy, free comedy tickets,
Right.
free comedy. We call them barkers.
You call it barking.
What's
right.
that called, really?
Flyering.
Flyer?
Yeah.
I don't know where we came up with the name barking, but
It's just because they were yelling in slightly violent fashion. Oi! Oi! Comedy!
But it was pretty easy. We were like, hey, well, let's go check this out. And we went up to the top of one little pub, and then the producer was there, and we were like, hey, we're comedians from LA. And they're like, get up! It was
cool.
It seems so easy.
Yeah, that's right. It probably depends on who you got. I wish you could tell me who it was, because...
I have the guy's name.
Do you have his
I
name?
do. I have to look it up in my database.
Oh, wow, I really want to know. It wasn't called Buccaneers Comedy.
No, but the guy booked us, and then he offered us another gig, which was we had to take some train out to Weddington, maybe? Does that sound right? Was it Weddington? Something with a W.
Wellington?
Wellington.
Oh, wow.
No? Does that sound... Do you know who it is?
No, Wellington's in New Zealand, actually.
No, it's something with
That's
a
a long
W.
time,
I don't remember exactly, but we took a train and we had to go like 45 minutes to this other gig.
Okay.
But my partner Dave is a comic, and he was doing a lot of bush bashing at the time. Bush was...
Right, yeah.
And they loved that over there. Like,
Right on.
They were shocked that Americans would say anything, anything at all against the establishment.
It's good that he got over there in time, because I think there was a finite window for the
Really?
Bush bashing too.
Oh.
Because near the end of the Bush thing, I think, because English, when you're talking about what audiences think they're smart, I think English comedians, or English audiences, sorry, they tend to get ahead of the curve. So they'll get tired of something after a while. But if he was out there while it was still fresh,
Yeah.
You know, calling Bush a dick, then yeah, that would have been really good.
But people do go out there, I think, more than, say, here in LA. Like, they're, more social, and they go to pubs.
Totally,
and
it's part of their culture. The
yeah.
pub life, and that's why they have to have breaks in their comedy shows.
Oh, yeah, we don't do
Like
that here.
Everybody goes straight through, and that's still sometimes, well, it doesn't baffle me, but sometimes I'm like, because in Britain you couldn't do that. You make so much money by having a little break, because everybody gets up to go and get drinks. So, like a night at the Comedy Store, they'll have a couple of breaks, and the bar will be packed, and yeah, if there's anything that British people are addicted to more than comedy, it's drinking. So you have to make room for them to get to the bar.
Right. Let's take a break for more drinks, because you're not getting served enough while you're sitting there watching the comedy either.
Yeah, you'll never see a 2-drink minimum in Europe.
That's right. You don't have to do it.
That'll never be said.
It's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's more like a 5-drink at least.
Yeah, or a maximum. Or
Right.
Don't get carried away this week, Jeff, or we'll
Have you
kick out.
performed in Ireland?
I have, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
we also performed in Dublin at the
Oh, yeah.
Halfpenny Bridge Club. Do you know that one?
I don't know
in
that
Dublin?
one. I do the Laughter Lounge in
Ah,
Dublin,
yeah.
which is nice, and then there's a great one called the International. So those are the two that. When were you over in
Oh,
Dublin?
that's been a while now, at least 10 years. So,
I wonder
but
I wonder if that's affiliated with the International. But it's great. They're,
such a great flavor.
yeah.
I mean, and it was funny because we literally performed, I remember, on a like a milk crate with a piece of wood on top of it. It was like,
Really?
they had this makeshift little stage, and it was packed.
This sounds like the
Like,
International.
It does.
Is
it
it a
does.
little skinny corner bar?
It's a tiny little place upstairs.
And it's like, but it's like 3 floors
Yeah,
big
yeah.
and stuff, and you get together in the corridor. It's been renamed the International.
Really?
I think.
And
Yeah.
there is, like,
it's called the International. Yeah, and
tiniest little
and people
stage.
are sitting on the stage
Oh,
with you.
yes.
Yeah, they're all at your feet.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
let's just do comedy
And it's
together.
like picnic tables, and they're all.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
just-
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's called
my.
the International now, and it's even more popular.
Really?
Yeah, hugely popular. You should never, as a comic, any comics listening, if you ever are going to go to Dublin, do not pass up.
Yeah.
You just have to see it. It's a phenomenon. And you can't go like 10 minutes before showtime. You got to go like in the afternoon and check in and go, is it okay if I come in? Because it's packed.
And people come from everywhere. I
Yeah.
remember it was like, if you were to ask here, hey, is everyone from Burbank? Like, everyone's from Burbank. But there it was like, I'm from Ireland. I mean, I'm from London. I'm from New Zealand. I mean, they came from everywhere. Very international. Literally,
Yeah.
the international. That's what they call
It's
it
a
that.
great experience. Yeah, the comics literally sweating on you. That's because you're just all there. on
Yes,
top
it was
of each other.
very intimate. I remember that.
Yeah.
Any comics listening, it definitely is a good idea though to get out, I think, of the U.S. at some point and just experience what that's like, because, or if you're in LA, at least go to Riverside like you guys did last night, or Temecula, to get a, because
There's nothing like teaching yourself what kind of colloquial gags you have.
In the
So you
local-
Get up there and you go, hey, what's up with the corner store? Oh shit.
you don't have pink dots here? No.
Yeah.
There just are so, and you learn to balance out your material though, like,
Yeah,
so
and
that it works everywhere, like what you've done.
Totally. That's and like we were saying, you learn to go with some more social stuff instead of going, oh yeah, my political agenda isn't going to work here in the outback of New Zealand.
Right. So we just got slipped a note by Richie Leese, our booker at Flappers.
Whitney Cummings is going to be dropping in tonight.
Whitney Cummings is going to
Yes.
drop in our Celebrity Drop-In Tuesdays, which, by the way, JJ Whitehead is going to be headlining on November 25th,
Yeah.
our Celebrity Drop-In Tuesdays.
I'm looking forward to that.
That is an amazing show. We do. We somehow have made Tuesdays the place to be here. I mean, we get Damon Wayans comes in, Bill Burr's dropped in, we just get a call, Whitney Cummings,
It's awesome.
JJ Whitehead. I mean, we are just so lucky
Yeah,
to
'cause
get.
I'm just a bunch of names. I'll work on. I'm only new to the States, so you guys are gonna get
New to the States. Come and see him here.
Yeah.
That's my best British
There was
accent.
one question that one of our audience members wanted to ask, and that is, how do you deal with hecklers?
Do you have
The
that?
good rule with hecklers is to never get angry, and give them enough rope, and they'll hang themselves.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but the worst thing you do is get angry, right? Which you see comics do all the time.
Bad.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to make people laugh here. What are you? And it just they lose the rest of the audience. But the great thing is, and you've always got time to repeat too, because I don't know. You try to remember that the audience isn't happy that somebody's happy. They're not. But you don't have to overreact. You can even go, what did you just say? And then no matter what they say, the audience is still not going to be happy. And they're not angry with you. They're angry with that guy. So you just keep handing him rope. And then eventually you can just, the audience will be wanting a release. So just something simple. Like, okay, well, we chat afterwards or whatever, and it'll let the audience will let it out.
Do you think that you have more hecklers in the U.S. than in the UK? Or
Definitely not.
not?
Yeah,
There's more in the UK.
The British.
Because they're
definitely
drunker?
The British will
Yeah.
definitely talk more.
People get definitely more plastered over there, I'll say.
They are
Right?
definitely much more interactive.
Ah.
Yeah, they get the alcohol courage, and they'll want to have a chat. We had a weird heckler last night, though, didn't we?
It was
In
weird.
Riverside?
Well, Matt Kirshen was out, and you guys have known each other a long time too.
FYI, what we're talking about is Flappers is actually booking a remote location in Riverside called the District Vape Lounge.
Yes.
And every other Monday, we are booking comics there. So if you're listening in that area, go check that out and support the club.
It's
'cause
going
it's
to
new.
grow into a really nice room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sightlines were great. The atmosphere was
It's a
great.
brand new venue. They just built it, so they're just getting their legs,
Yeah, it's
going.
fantastic.
But so Matt Kirshen, I think, was up, and he was talking. He was going into
he
a bit.
heckled me as well.
Oh, he did?
I don't remember what happened, but I think I shut him down. And
Okay.
but then he still, after I kept going, I think I looked at him once, and he went, "Look, man, you're all right." And I was just going, "Oh no, it's all right. We're on the same team. I was just looking at you. That's all." So he got. But yeah, I remember what Matt said.
Yeah, cool. Matt does a bit about how the gist of it is that it's good that the British people have royalty because it teaches people that no matter what they do, they'll never be royal. So they have a healthier attitude about what is realistic, what they can realistically do in their life. Well, like he's saying, Americans, you guys, you all think you're going to be president. None of you are going to be president. And there's a guy who I guess took it too literally, or was like, no, I can be president.
I can too be president. And I think Matt was just stunned. He was going to go, "This is my point."
Yeah, Matt was like, you're not going to be president because you're here right now.
Demonstrative, right there.
He's like, "How are you preparing to be president?" It was really good, but I think at one point, I think you and I were laughing more than some of the audience. But see, that's why Matt's a pro, and he could tell because it was a real playful thing. But as far as dealing with this heckler went, he could have kept doing it if the audience found it funny. But I think that audience started to find it a little bit awkward. Like, "Oh, come on, Matt, get back to your stuff." And Matt played it perfect because if in front of a different audience, it would be great to watch him continue to toy with him and going,
Right.
So how did you prepare? What time did you wake up today? All these things.
But they did, he did exactly what you say. He did it a little bit,
Yeah.
where and then he did shut him down, and the audience applauded when he did, because he was basically said. I think basically he ended it with, if you are elected president, I will pay you $1 million.
That's right. Yeah, he ran with that.
We had a reminder of heckling stories the other night. We did our Dead Comedians show every Halloween,
I saw
and
some of the pictures.
someone
Great.
played Andy Kaufman.
Ah, cool.
Jimmy Palumbi, amazing, and he demonstrated the awkwardness of Andy so well, and then Richie, our booker, chimed in and actually, as part of the scene, started heckling. And
Right.
this audience member is like, "Be quiet, he's doing good!" And she was defending the comedian,
That's
Jimmy.
great. I love that.
And
yeah.
literally, it got so weird, and she came out of the showroom and actually asked, "Was that part of the show?" And of course it was part of the show, but it was so, Andy Kaufman, oh man, that whole scenario, he embraced that awkwardness,
Totally, yeah.
And I think comedians here in the U.S. they're really surprised, I think, when someone heckles, more than,
Yeah,
in
I've seen a little bit of anger here and there.
yeah, it's weird. Shut up! That whole,
Yeah.
I love that one.
Sometimes
Just shut up.
Sometimes even when it's nice. Even when it's like, "I really like what you're doing." "Hey, screw you! I got it, I'm busy."
Well, yeah,
Look
because
at me, I'm working.
I feel like there's like the spectrum. Like there's people who like get into it just a little too much, and they're not heckling, but they're like just.
We
Yeah.
need to do a class just on that. Like, I think you need to practice that skill because
Being patient.
Yes, and slowing down and dealing with the present, and like you said, where do you get this rope that you're supposed to throw out to them?
Give them enough rope.
Yeah, where do you
Give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves.
mime it on stage?
But it's all stuff that because I can think, like I was never taught it, but I can think of the times where I screwed up. You know, like I can think of the times where I just got angry. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
me too.
I was just about to get to a good punchline, and then you realize afterwards, like, oh, that didn't help. Like, you know, getting angry and telling the audience how awesome you were about to be does not help. But if you keep handing the little hand grenade or whatever, this awkward person, just keep giving them the line, then they'll take it all on their chest, and then you're still.
Do you hear that, audience members listening? Just so you know, if you want to get hung, come heckle. That's what JJ is saying. Is our comedian here?
He
for
is,
our punchline?
yeah, there's
You have
one.
another pressing question?
Which is one more quick. I was wondering if you could talk briefly about the Edinburgh festivals.
Edinburgh.
Sure.
The Edinburgh festivals. and
Edinburgh.
what-
Sure, Edinburgh is where I won that BBC Comedy Award.
How'd you get in? What did you do? What did you submit?
Well, it's not. There are promoters that will invite you to Edinburgh, but for the most part, it's an open arts festival. But it's a big risk and a big sacrifice if you're not building a name. It's not a cheap. Any British festival isn't a cheap investment, but it is a great festival. It's the biggest festival in the world. So there are like 6,000 comedy shows and stuff.
Wow, that's many?
6,000 shows, I think, of which most are comedy.
And there's a lot of theater too, I think.
Tons
One
of
person
theater.
shows, right?
Tons of theater. There's also a jazz festival, a film festival, a television festival, and the tattoo. All in the month of August.
The tattoo. What's
tattoo.
the tattoo?
The military tattoo.
We don't
So-
know this. Tell us.
There's a
Is it one guy with a tattoo and everyone looks at it?
It's your dad.
How do you explain a military tattoo? It's military tattoo is it's like bands and like military bands and like.
Is this
cannon running
tattoo
displays.
TOU or TO
No,
like
I
a
think
tattoo?
I think it's spelled like an ink tattoo would be
Never
spelled.
heard. Oh,
I don't know this.
And does anyone have a tattoo of a tattoo?
What a military tattoo is? It's really huge. I mean, lots of cities have military.
I do not know this
tattoos.
lingo.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like a pomp and
Forgive me.
circumstance thing,
This
where
is
they.
a brand. I've never had to
Education?
explain.
Really?
So militaries from all around the world, but it's usually their marching bands and stuff.
Oh.
But it's a lot of aerial displays and like there'll be a cannon run.
Like
which is
Cirque du
great.
Soleil or what? Military Cirque du
but
Soleil?
that's almost funny, but
Almost. It's almost. That's why I'm not the comedian.
In the sense that I can't see, there's no way the Norwegian military
Like the
drum
floor
band
drops out,
is
there's
gonna
like
have-
water,
yeah,
and it's like
some swinging acrobat. I wish I had help, but do you know
Anyone?
what military tattoo
Anyone?
is?
See?
Wow. Okay.
This guy, this
Wow.
Brit, right?
I've never heard that
Canadian
before.
Brit?
Yeah, but
Alright.
they have tattoos on there's a Nova Scotia.
There must be
tattoo.
another name for it here. Like
It's a-
Does the U.S.
celebrate.
military ever do this, or do
I
they,
bet you they do. I
do they just have a drone
There's
fly over and
gotta
go,
be-
It's
all right?
Veterans Day
There'll-
coming up,
there
and we
will
should know about
definitely
this.
be American military tattoos going on. Here, maybe they changed the name for political correctness, but I'm pretty
And
sure.
where
it's
does the
all-
comedy fit in with this?
Well, it just all happens at the same time in the
Right.
city of Edinburgh. So Edinburgh's got the castle. So the big castle they have a big grounds that they have the military tattoo on. So that's for 2 weeks.
It's a big tattoo.
It's hugely popular.
It's a cool
People
tattoo.
come from all around the world to
It's
go
a
to
queer
this.
tattoo.
So yeah. You
Anyone
just
know
get
what I'm
that-
Is it
quoting?
one of those?
No.
I mean, if you're outside of America, do Americans
I
give a
got
shit?
you.
Do Americans give a shit about the tattoo?
This
Let's
is
just cut to the
blowing
chase.
my mind.
I have to Google
I
this.
just don't know what a tattoo
Googling
is.
it right now.
That's like your football, right? It's another thing.
No, it's just
That
a
soccer
thing.
bullshit.
But it's just
So it's a
thing that
very
happens.
cool thing.
But,
It's a cool thing.
Wait,
Well, I don't
wait.
know.
Norway
It's
has an army.
It's more for your twilight years, I would think. It's more for
Well,
kids.
that's why we're.
and
Oh.
I'm not saying it's My Little
Is
Pony
it?
on Ice, but it's for there's
That sounds fun.
older people from all around the world. There's busloads, like they're all lined up and down the Royal Mile in Edinburgh to go to the military tattoo.
You sure they're not headed for the cemeteries?
And then-
No.
So sometimes.
Okay.
But the heat of some of these shows.
All
but
right.
anyway,
Go to Edinburgh.
the whole festival.
See the tattoo.
Yeah, don't.
Let me ask you this.
Don't go to see the tattoo.
Let's say
I don't know how we got so distracted, but the tattoo happens at the same. The tattoo should be the famous thing,
Right.
but
do they serve poutine at the tattoo?
They
we
do
haven't-
not serve poutine at the tattoo.
So last week's word was poutine. This week's word is
It's
tattoo.
tattoo, I
What if
think.
you got a tattoo of poutine?
Right.
Or is it
Did you
poutine?
just say poutine?
Poutine.
Which is poutine.
That's something
Ladies and
else
gentlemen,
entirely.
it's
They
a
do
very
that
different,
after the
dirty movie, which is showing during the film festival in Edinburgh. I think this year will be Poutine 2.
Oh, I saw Platoon 1.
Yes, you can go see. You can see Poutine, then you can catch the military tattoo, and then come to my Edinburgh show.
If there, let's say let's say you're doing the military tattoo, right? And if an actual
only the military does the military. Luckily, we've been talking about this long enough that people are googling it and they're going, "All right, it's a real thing." JJ Whitehead is not an idiot.
But let's say they're doing the tattoo thing that they're doing,
Right.
Yeah, they're
and
exciting.
actually there's an
Cannons
actual
are going off.
invasion. Could
Right.
this be a fighting force, or would they just blow a bugle and
Yeah,
run
I
away?
think it'd be more blowing bugles. It's more for
Wearing
show.
skirts and
the
playing
cannon run
bagpipes.
is awesome. So they do stuff like the cannon. I think I've seen there's been American troops
Tattoos.
do these cannon runs because the cannon basically.
Well, I've heard of Cannonball Run. That was a movie, right?
Yeah.
Is that related?
Well, you know what? It's almost like we're speaking different languages.
I know.
It's like
Where was Cannonball? Was that Burt Reynolds?
from different parts of the world or something.
Yes, we are from different parts of the world.
So the cannon dissects down into, like, it just disassembles into like 7 different pieces.
Oh.
And like these guys have to, so they assemble the cannon.
They don't
right?
use these
And then-
anymore
And then at
for
the start of the race, yes, it doesn't.
warfare.
No, it doesn't. You're very correct. It
Just
doesn't.
making sure. It would be
It
very
doesn't.
inefficient. That's all I'm saying.
It's like being on a date with an 18-year-old and trying
Why
to
can't you?
explain to her what like Live Aid was. So in the 80s, there was this band. It was called. There was Boy George. Was he really a boy? Oh my God! There was the boy. So it was like Justin Bieber. No, he wasn't really a boy. He was called Boy George. Well, if he was called, why didn't they just call him by George? If he wasn't a boy. No, he was Boy George in the culture called. Oh, they were. In what way were they cultured? Were they American? I don't get. Were they British? They were British, but what was their culture? And he was the boy. Why was he a boy? Anyway, so you. I don't even know why there's the point in trying to explain the cannon run.
Wait, we're watching someone assemble a cannon.
Yes.
So they disassemble the cannon.
Did we watch them disassemble it?
Yes.
Like an IKEA
How much do you
piece of
pay for this?
furniture?
Hold on.
I'm watching someone disassemble something.
The start of
Busloads of people. Did you say the way you
is
disassemble
I am
that
not
cannon?
going on a
This
second
is
date
fun?
with you guys. This is not. I'm gonna,
This is.
so
People pay to see
So
this?
they disassemble the cannon, and then there's an obstacle course, and they run the pieces through the obstacle course.
What do you mean not?
And then they reassemble the cannon at the other end of the obstacle course, and they have
Oh,
to
this
fire the
sounds
cannon.
torturous.
And the first military to fire the cannon wins.
So that
Well, the American military often wins it.
we had an obstacle course in 3rd grade. That's what.
I know. That sounds like putting together IKEA
Yeah, it's-
furniture.
it's
That's
basically
not a
like
fun
3rd
thing.
grade.
How is that related to a tattoo? I don't know.
I'm confused. It's my trailer trash upbringing.
It all
I'm
happens-
sorry.
you know what,
And
we'll-
Josh is a virgin, so you know.
We can just go to the
Well, not
jazz
anymore.
festival.
But when are you
They
going to be?
assemble
When are
cannons.
you in Edinburgh again?
I did it for 5 days this year. But,
Oh, 5 days?
It's the month of August. It's the whole month, though. You have to make a full commitment.
We're doing a comedy festival here in Burbank, so next year you'll have to sneak away for a
Well,
day.
I'm actually not. I don't want to do Edinburgh for a couple of years because I want to just do America. So I'm all American. I'm
Taking
America,
over.
America. So I'm trying.
Well, you're going to have to learn our culture.
I am
And our
going
ways.
to do. I am going to do the Glasgow Comedy Festival, which is in March, and that's not far from Edinburgh. But that's it. That's my only
Do
commitment.
they have tattoos there as well?
They do not have a
Oh,
military
see?
tattoo.
We don't
in
have
Glasgow.
one at our Burbank Comedy Festival
And,
either.
Maybe you should.
So Burbank would be shocked. if we did. We could do it in front of the IKEA.
I really feel I've done a horrible job.
You have been amazing.
Of explaining.
Hey, Mavens, did you see the way they disassembled that cannon? I sure did, Ralph. It was fantastic.
That was exciting.
Did he have commentary? Please tell me he
Very
had commentary.
exciting.
And then the clown shoots out.
Look at the way he pulled that screw out.
I haven't seen a cannon assembled like that since 2004.
He put it back together in like 5 seconds.
And just to clarify, the tattoo is not part of the comedy festival.
Really?
Okay.
Maybe we should
Yeah,
rethink
It
that.
should be.
They're all separate
It's
festivals.
quite funny.
But they happen at the same time.
I would like to see Jim Jeffries
No, no,
I think-
disassembled.
I think we have cannonballed JJ. Literally. Wait, so what is your Twitter? How can people find you and where you're performing and all that?
I would actually prefer, instead of following me on the internet, that they would just actually follow me.
Yes.
So if some of you could just jump out of a bush and surprise me, that would be
Wonderful.
awesome.
That's a new way to
My-
follow. I
my-
like it.
My Twitter is JJ White Snake,
Ooh.
not Whitehead, because I was drunk when
Oh.
I signed up for it, and I thought, what the heck? So I've kind of annoyed 80s music fans, but that is my Twitter handle, JJ White Snake.
JJ Whitesnake. And what is your website so they can check that
That is
out?
JJ Whitehead.
Oh.
JJWhitehead
Com.
one of them.
I was just there.
Net, I think. .net.
Oh, not net. Oh, not net.
As in what the clown lands in after he gets
Shot out of the cannon at the tattoo.
Military
Got it.
tattoo.
We brought it back around. All right.
And we know this. We know this.
All right,
We're speaking the lingo now, Josh. I think we got it.
All right.
You know?
We're ready up. Are we ready for the punch it up
Well,
tattoo?
are you ready for the Punch It Up, JJ? This is the
Yeah.
segment of our podcast where we invite new up-and-coming comedians to come on our show and do 3 minutes.
Awesome.
And then they come over here onto our couch, which has been talked about by every famous headliner. And we'll give them some tags, ideas. What do you say? We'll help them punch it up.
Fantastic.
Are you in?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay,
All right.
who is our...
Today's
I hope
comedian.
this material is about the tattoo.
Me too. Me too.
Today's comedian is Yedoye Travis.
What? That's harder than tattoo.
Hi, am I talking to you guys? Is that how this goes?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I just moved to Los Angeles a couple months ago, and I started a new job before I got here. I was selling solar panels, is what I was doing. And I did some research before I got here, and I realized that the people here that buy solar panels completely different from the ones in Atlanta, which is where I'm from. Like, if you ask somebody here why they want to switch to solar, they'd say something like, "Oh, you know, I'm just environmentally conscious, just trying to save some money." You know, pretty much a perfect person. You know how it goes. But if you ask somebody in Atlanta why they want to switch to solar, they say something like, "Oh, you know, I'm just an old racist trying to get off the grid." You know, a customer. You know how that goes. Actually, I don't have any cash. Can I pay you in gold? Is that cool? Or would you prefer a throaty, whistly rendition of today's bluegrass hits? Would you like that? That'd be cool. Before that, I was actually working in theater, and I actually am doing similar work now, building sets, which is more of an existential roller coaster than I thought it would be, because nothing I build is permanent, and so I think about my own mortality all the time, which is weird. But it started to get really weird when I caught myself having to carry a prop set of stairs up a real set of stairs. And I was like, really, what is this all for, you know? What is this? Is this even a job, you know? I don't know. What are we even doing here? I don't remember the 90s that well, which I know is a big thing right now. I read BuzzFeed articles every day. I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't remember any of that. Like, my most vivid memory of the 90s is flipping through channels and stopping on Nickelodeon, and I was never sure if I was watching an episode of Alex Mack or a Capri Sun commercial. It's the only thing I remember. Like, I grew up thinking that Zordon from the Power Rangers and Phil Collins were the same dude. And also that Freddie Mercury and Dr. Frankenfurter were the same dude. I also thought James Earl Jones and James Earl Ray were the same dude. Yeah, you know, the guy who did the voice for Darth Vader in Star Wars, and then also the man who murdered Martin Luther King to death. Yeah, same person in my brain. Same person. For years, I didn't realize that Joan Cusack was a real person. I thought she was just a shitty female character played by John Cusack. Every time a new movie came out, I was like, still with this, man? Come on, you have a career already. How weird is that to invent a character who's your sister with the same job as you? How weird is that? I don't know. Let me see, I am not a religious person. I don't necessarily believe in God, but I don't think he believes in me either, so I think that's cool. I would never call myself an atheist because I because atheists are always so proud of reading the whole Bible and not believing any of it, which is weird to me. Because if I read 1,000 pages of anything, that's just what I believe. You know? It's so much time. You gotta respect yourself. You know, it's like I don't know. It's then they always want to get so aggressive about it. You know, they always get in your face like, "Hey man, I read your book. It was bullshit. I didn't believe." Like you wrote the Bible. "Hey man, I read your book. It was bullshit. I didn't believe any of it." I'm like, why are you being so aggressive right now? And then they're like, hey, how could anybody believe that shit, man? How's anybody believe that shit? And all the Christians are like, I don't know, man. You read the shit, not me. I thought we were just drinking wine, man. Let's go. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. Thanks.
All right.
So you're gonna keep the mic.
Yeah, come on over and join us over here. And I do not know if I can say your name right. Yedoye?
Yedoye.
Yedoye.
So close. Adding a couple letters.
Is it Yedoye Tattoo? No.
No,
Okay.
close. Close.
Yedoye. That sounds like, isn't that what your sister says to mock you?
Yeah. What is
Yeah.
the background of that name?
He's Nigerian.
Nigerian. And then Davis, though.
Travis. Yes.
That's so, wow.
Yeah, my dad's from Florida. My mom is from Nigeria. So there's a lot of,
Awesome.
there's a very vast variety in there.
Of the Nigerian Floridian.
Yes.
I
Yes.
see.
That was great, man. How long you been telling jokes?
A little over 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. A natural. Yeah.
Well, I did theater for a while before that, I guess. If that
Yeah, you seem very comfortable on stage, for
Yeah,
sure.
really comfortable, really patient, and great timing already.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Do you have some ideas for him, JJ?
Well, I wrote that stuff, but I really like the Cusack thing because I
Brilliant.
felt that. I love it when somebody says something, you're like, oh man, I always have that thought. Whenever I see John Cusack's name, I'm like, I still can't, I don't know what she looks like.
John or Joe? I don't know.
Joan John.
Yeah, so that tickled me. That tickled me a bit. And then I just thought, sometimes, so they're all great jokes, but some of your punchlines are actually just the start of ideas.
Yeah.
Like when you're carrying the stairs upstairs.
I wrote that.
Like
Oh.
that's a metaphor that's just the start. Like,
Yeah.
so that was a great statement and a great picture and everything. But then you can build on that.
Yeah.
A wall in front of a wall, or, you know,
Yeah.
like a
Or even,
permanent
who's
building
the
in front of a
artist?
wall.
Who's the artist that has that rotating stair?
Oh, Escher?
Yeah, sure. Like you can put yourself in an Escher drawing. You got
Yeah,
there's all
okay.
kinds of. So I thought a couple times, and that's really the only because I think it's great. I think you're gonna be great. The stairs upstairs, and the same thing when you started comparing people. You're like, I can't even read my own writing. But when you started comparing people to each other, then you don't take it any further. But yeah, you can take those all further. So
Yeah, well, I had those broken up into so many different bits
Yeah.
for a long time, and I just recently combined them into what it
Yeah,
is now.
because even if you're
So,
getting titters off of the comparison bit, I wouldn't stop there. Then
Yeah.
actually just build that situation. Just
Yeah.
keep pushing that situation when you get a chance to work on it. Push that situation until it dies,
Yeah.
or until you hit that extra.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh right, there's that. There's that next level. Yeah, cool.
I completely agree with the more. That's literally what I wrote down. It's like, it's such a great concept. You can keep like hitting it. A couple ideas on the top when you said pay in gold. Just, I don't know, bling might be a funnier word there. Maybe? Just a thought.
Well, no.
No?
Well, he's
Too
the
obvious?
people. Well, the people paying him are racists,
Oh,
and bling
right.
is.
Yeah,
I don't think they
It's
have
to
bling.
their
I think they have
gold.
like doubloons or
Oh, well, maybe something like that.
Or, you
Gold
know.
sounds like it's just a downward.
blood diamonds. Maybe they
Oh,
would have
blood
diamonds.
diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. That's great. Okay, yes, good. I just heard an opening there. Also, you know, the Capri Sun,
Uh-huh.
you got to do a little act out of the sippy sip.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just,
Well,
you can't say Capri Sun without, like, giving a little bit more
Yeah,
there,
sure.
I think. I don't know.
okay. Yeah, I was just,
It may not be your thing,
yeah.
but
yeah, I've never been one for like a lot of act outs.
Right.
But I mean, which is weird, I
Well,
guess,
you're
because I did
theater,
theater.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
real
yeah,
weird.
that's-
I didn't say I was good at theater. I said I did it.
you don't have to be good at an act out. That's kind of the cool thing. It
actually,
is
that's-
comedy.
That is, yeah. One of my buddies in Atlanta had this bit about how black comics can do act outs without really doing act outs.
Oh,
He has this great mustache, so it's way better. But he's just like, a black comic will say something like, yeah, this dude was walking down the street and just staring at me like, you know, people be staring at you.
Yeah.
You know, just looks at the audience, and it kills him every time. But It's all that mustache, man. That thick mustache.
I also on the garden, the end thing where you talk about that 1,000 pages, anything I read 1,000 page, and then you said I could read anything, but let's give him something. Like what if I could read, there's so many opportunities to put something in there.
And then that's the
Like I
truth.
could read Garden Times,
Yeah,
and then
or
suddenly
really-
I'd be watering myself and
Really
growing
bad
my...
celebrities biography.
Yeah.
You're like, I believe that she did that. Or, yeah.
That's a never-ending bit
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I wanted to tag that with other books, and then I realized I haven't read that many books. I've read like 4 books all the way through.
See, that's funny too.
Yeah.
This joke would continue, but
Right.
I've got a reading list to go through.
Well, and you
I
could,
can't
that could
read
bran-
1,000 pages.
That could
Yeah.
branch out to Facebook and Twitter. Reading tweets.
Oh,
Yeah.
does social media pages count?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I've
Yes.
read,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I've read 1,000 pages of Facebook.
Right.
I guess
I've read the
all
good
one-
book. It's the
or just
Facebook.
one really, really long page.
Right.
Yeah.
But that concept I think is great, and that was my suggestion there. And I saw you in Clyde's Uncle
really?
Clyde's comedy contest, which
Okay.
you placed
Yeah.
and won, right?
I
Judge-
was second.
Yes.
I won the
But judges vote, which was me judging
Oh,
you.
that was-
Right.
yes.
I voted for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love your stage presence, and also what's great is like without really saying I know some comics don't want to hear this, but you are clean in the sense of like your stuff is just universal and can go anywhere. You didn't focus on, which is rare in a comic under 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
kudos and congrats on that, and keep going in that direction. It'll give you a lot more opportunities. I know.
I think it was a really big lesson for me because it's amazing how the most interesting things about you are the simplest. The fact that you build sets. There's so much more that you can go there.
Yeah.
Like another thought I had is that based on my extensive experience with apartment living in Los Angeles, I sometimes wonder if the sets you build are better than the apartment that you build.
No. Well, because the apartment I live in is currently non-existent, so.
Oh.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is
You should
that
build
a
yourself
car?
an apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That set behind you is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
That
yeah.
brick wall.
I was talking to somebody right before we came out here about that.
Yeah, they
Apparently
left it here.
Oh,
Really?
Well, I asked
so they
them.
built it for the show.
Yeah, they came in and like reconstructed half of our place, and I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
"Can we just keep that?" And they said yes,
Oh,
Wow.
because it was more work for them and more money to break it down. So
Oh, wow.
you put in so much work, you guys, doing
Yeah.
that.
Well, I was not here.
No, not for this show, but
Oh, yeah. Well,
what
Yeah.
shows have you worked on?
I've done commercials mostly, and I've only been doing it for a couple months, but I did a couple things for Target, and we just did something for Nike.
Yeah, notice how he's like Target.
Yeah, I don't-
Nike.
I'm not-
It's like being an actor. We always like, what have you done? And you're a set builder, and you're like, I've done Walmart and Kmart.
Yeah.
I built sets for all the low-priced wholesale
Yeah.
stores.
Yeah, when you did Nike, did you take home some shoes that were the props?
Oh no, we built a
Oh.
floor. We built a floor.
Oh, right.
A
That's it.
spring floor?
No, just the floor.
Oh,
Just
Very important.
What did you
That's
build it
right.
on top of?
Well, it was in.
a floor.
Right.
It was on top of another floor.
Gotcha.
Concrete floor. It was in the Spruce Goose Hangar, I guess, in where is it, Culver City?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Howard
And,
Hughes's.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was just on top of concrete, very uneven concrete, unfortunately.
Right.
So it's about where that story ends.
Yeah, but
You guys-
see, it's so,
I feel you guys wanting more. It's not coming.
it's so much more glamorous, though. You have a construction worker. He's like, I built this beautiful mansion, and no one cares. And you're like, I built a floor for Nike, and everyone's like, really? Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very glamorous to be
It's
a
a floor
set
that's
builder.
going to be gone. It's probably already gone.
Well, I'd love to see some of that in your act, though. I think that's what
Yeah,
John's
and you
going.
can even like you already started to kind of comment on that it's not like you can sit your grandson down and say, watch these commercials, son. See
Oh,
that
yeah.
floor?
Built that.
That was me.
Built part of
I
that
helped
did
floor.
that.
Really, I
put one of those-
swept around that floor.
I put one of those nails in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the extent of my work.
Well, we are going to book you for some shows because obviously you won the judges' vote,
Yeah.
and you'll be seeing a lot more. We'll all be seeing a lot more of you here. He's fantastic.
Cool,
isn't
well
he?
done, man.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for
Thanks for
joining
having
us
me. I
today.
appreciate it.
Now say his name, JJ. Come on, say it.
I want
Thank
to say
you.
YOLO.
Oh well.
I'm gonna make JJ say it.
Mr. Travis.
Yay, Mr. Travis!
Perfect. Thank you.
Yedoye.
Thank you so much.
Yedoye.
Yedoye. That's a great name. It's very sexy. Yedoye.
Now, what does it mean?
It means like something you want. I've never gotten.
Don't fuck with me.
Yeah. It just means something like you want.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
Desire, Travis.
Hello, ladies.
All right, if you're listening, call us at 1-900-555 Yedoye. He'll be available for your parties. Thanks so much, Yedoye. Awesome. Wow. Well, there you go, JJ. Any more comments on the tattoo before we close up today?
No,
Oh, and you actually have a real tattoo. Wait, you have a military tattoo above all things. Stop it. It's a military tattoo.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
This is the thing about podcasts, man. You don't know what I think.
Where we're
we were
going.
30 seconds in, I was talking about my dad, and then I ended on a military tattoo diatribe.
And where can we see your dad performing next?
Yeah, I think he'll be in the next Trailer Park Boys movie.
Perfect. I watch all the trailer park movies. It reminds me of my people.
That's our patch. We live right next door to the Trailer Park Boys set. So.
Well, JJ, thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget, JJ's Twitter is
JJ Whitesnake.
White Snake, like the 80s band. And your website is
JJ Whitehead.
Whitehead. So don't get confused about that. And you can see JJ performing live, headlining here during Celebrity Drop-In Tuesdays on November 25th.
Oh, you can see secret clips on my website too. If you put in your own, because I put clips up on my website, but I always have a secret thing for industry. If you put a / and video, you'll see some clips that are.
And video or just / video?
Just / video. Yeah, just the word video. There's clips that I'm not allowed to put on YouTube because of the copyright and stuff.
Do it. / video on JJ's site.
Yeah, all the things that they get pulled down if I put them on YouTube. So.
Perfect, like your pants. All right. Who's in Claremont this weekend?
In Claremont this weekend, we have the incomparable Baron Vaughn from TBS.
Yes.
In Burbank, we have Kathy Ladman.
Who's never been here before, so that's exciting.
Yes, from The Tonight Show.
And if you're in menopause, you're going to love her.
And then tonight, Celebrity Drop-In Tuesday special guest is Whitney Cummings.
Whitney Cummings tonight. We got to do a celeb alert on our Flap app.
Yes, we do.
Right?
Yes.
Well, thank you again, JJ, for joining us on another exciting episode of the FlappCast. Don't forget to download our app, which is free. It's called the Flap app.
Cool.
FLAPPAPP. And you can get deals and discounts there that you can't get anywhere else. Thanks again for joining us. Right.
You didn't even finish your beer.
Well, it was much fun here.
So you should talk about marketing and college.
We should?
Thing.
Oh.
Right.
Well,
Next week, right?
oh yeah, you want
Is
to...
there a thing next week?
Well, I'm a college agent. I've been a college agent for like...
Oh, you're an actual agent.
Before I owned the club, yeah. I actually have a girl out there right now pursuing...
Oh, really?
Well, what it is, I've been a college... Before I was a manager. Oh,